We now stood in a long, dark tunnel, which extended far ahead into pure darkness. The tunnel felt unnaturally cold, both to the skin and to the soul. The air carried the message. This was a place that held nothing but abject misery. Even if you were blind to the decrepit appearance of the tunnel, the cold would tell you this was a place where happiness had never been. We could see our breath in the tunnel, white mist punctuating each exhalation. Ugh. You wouldn't happen to have another sweater, would you, Lizzie? No, sorry. It's not really helping me as much as you'd think it would. Still, bet it feels warmer than what we're wearing. I hope it gets less cold further in, but that's probably futile. Shall we get going? Pucks and Rich nodded. We descended further into the tunnel, trying not to pay mind to the fact that our chances of coming back out were slim to none. And now's when I'm gonna have to save, like, every 5 minutes. I can sense it. The craggy tunnels were illuminated by lonely light bulbs, which miraculously had not been burnt out. Who knows how long they had... Who knows how long they had been burning down there. This must be some kind of mine. Really? What makes you say that? I've read some books about them, and the pictures in them look a hell of a lot like this place does. I bet you 20 Drox we'll find mining equipment somewhere ahead. I thought back to the market purchases earlier today. Well, unfortunately for you, I'm broke. What a shame, I'll take an IOU then. I gave a little laugh at that. It was nice to see that Pucks had a lighter side to him. Hey guys, look at this. What is it? I think it's a journal or something. Resting on a wooden bench against the wall was a small little book with a black leather, or maybe faux leather, cover. Let me take a look at it. Do we really have time for this? I'll take an excuse not to go further in, thank you very much. Fair. I thumbed through the journal. Many pages were water damaged and illegible, but I eventually found a section that was somewhat readable. I read aloud. I love how it feels inside of me. I love the feeling of it crawling around inside my guts. The razors on its fingers scrape the walls and it hurts and bleeds out, but I feel beautiful. The feeling of a life inside, feeling of my insides, everything about me keeps it alive. I will protect it with my life, even if it hurts. I will kill if I have to. I will pillage if I have to pillage. When I will rest as dust, to be blown off the top of an old shelf, scattered into air as grain. Remembered not for how I stood, but for how the thing grew inside me. I cannot wait for it to hatch and crawl out from between my legs. Yeah, I feel like this game is not going to be very fun for me, because it's going to have a lot of, like, pregnancy imagery and stuff like that. Fun times. It's kicking. Ugh. The rest of the entry was illegible, and the writing stopped shortly after this point. What did any of that mean? It sounded like it was written by someone with a few screws loose. I wouldn't read that deep into it. What? I don't know. We looked around frantically. We couldn't see anything.
What the freak is that thing?
There, behind Rich, I saw something that my mind could scarcely comprehend. A horrible lumbering tower of meat, with glassy blue eyes that stared with a cold hunger and malice. It writhed in the distance, a living nightmare that was delighted to know that none of us would wake up to escape it. But it was hard to determine exactly where its attention was drawn. It was clear that Rich was in its sights. That's when it reared up and charged at Rich. If I didn't do something, the monstrosity would do something terrible to him. Alrighty. Decision time. If I wanted to save Rich, there was only one option. There's no way he would react in time to get away. He wouldn't even know he was being killed until after the creature gored him. Watch out! So I charged toward Rich and shoved him out of the way. What? I shoved Rich to the wall. He was safely away now while I stood in his place. Before I could get too comfortable, I heard the stomping feet of the beast. It was coming right at me. I have to think fast. Oh, pain. An eruption of fire in my chest that flared down the whole width of my torso. I wasn't able to act fast enough, and the beast was more than happy to take advantage of my slowness. My insides sizzled and gurgled as the creature's spittle began to reduce me to a pulpy slop. I collapsed. Puck screamed my name, as did Rich. I didn't hear it, though. I was already gone. Whoops. Experienced death for the first time. Yeah, that was a whoops. Alright. I'm gonna try and get as consistent as I can. And I'm also going to have it up here instead. Because you not get time. I stabbed hard in front of me. The creature ran right into my blade. The blade dug deep into the creature's flesh with a crisp slice. The creature let out a yelp and stumbled back in shock and pain, taking the blade with it. Oh shit. I had no weapon now. But at least I had time to put distance between me and the beast. I ran to Pucks and Rich. Fucking awesome. You got it, Lizzie. Yeah, no, I'm defenseless. I looked back to the creature, who was starting to find its footing. Yeah, I'm not for long. It's okay, I have a plan. One of you needs to distract it. Distract it? Yeah, get its attention, draw it away from me, and keep its focus on you. I'll get it from behind. Oh wow, great idea. Who should do it? I don't care, just decide amongst yourselves. Rich looked at me, terrified. I had to decide which one of us would try and distract the creature fast. If you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. Or, sorry, justified to myself. I'll do it. Be careful. I'll be fine. It seemed rather likely that I wouldn't be, but that was neither here nor there. I stepped to the side, away from Pucks and Rich. I had some room to think now. It was up to me to lure the creature away from them. How should I distract it? Throw the strange meat. That's when I remembered. See, this is why I kept it. I was still walking around with the gross, stinky meat in my pocket, for some reason. Hey, Bug Eyes, take this! I grasped the slimy mass and threw it out of my pocket. The creature's attention immediately left Pucks. It was absolutely in love with that disgusting slab in my hand. You want this? Go get it! I threw with all my might. It landed far back behind the beast with a sticky slap. The creature immediately darted after it. Good work. Rich, with me, use your crowbar. Right. When the creature was distracted, Pucks and Rich charged at it. Come here, you ugly motherfucker! Yeah, take this, you creepy thing! Thud, thud, squish, thud. A concert of heavy swings, breaking bone, jets of blood, and squishy meat echoed across the tunnel. Thud, thud, squish, thud. They finally stopped. Things were quiet. The beast had been slain. Hell yeah. The creature twisted and shrieked. Another heavy bash from Pucks. What's that movie? Zombie World or something? Always double tap. Thud. Thud. Squish. Thud. The beast was lying on the ground, twitching and wheezing horribly. Its horrid blood stank of metal and rot and pooled on the ground beneath it. With a pathetic little whimper, the creature stopped twitching. It its giant eye lost an expression. Its giant eye lost expression. It saw nothing anymore except eternity. The big plot twist is going to be that these are all actually people who got lost down here like us. It was dead. I'm calling it now. It's dead. Oh, thank God it's dead. Is everyone alright? Yeah. Yeah, I'm alright, Liz. Yeah, I'm fine. I can't believe we made it all in one piece. Same here. This thing's awful. Look at that. Its saliva is corrosive. What? Acidic. It melts things. Look. From the large tusks? Teeth? Still not sure what you would call them. Saliva dripped into the growing pools of blood below. The blood bubbled and hissed with each drop of saliva. We should be very careful. Try not to step in the blood puddle or touch the thing. Okay, but another cry, similar to that the beast we just killed, echoed across the tunnel from multiple directions. The creature was not the first, and it would not be the last. More were coming. We had to... I agree. Run. We immediately took off, being careful to leap over a blood pool and not trip on the rough floor. We ran faster than we had ever run in our lives. I'm certain of that.
I think we should head straight here.
I glanced behind me to see Rich halfway inside the ground, holding on for dear life.
Please.
In an instant, Rich was swallowed into the darkness. Well, rip that guy. I began to run, hoping I could pull Rich back in, but I was grabbed by my arm.
Liz!
I'm sorry, we can't do anything for now. We have to go. I gotta save all three of us to get the good end, probably, I think. Puck's words fell on deaf ears. I wrenched my arm out from his grasp and ran towards the hole. Puck was quick to regain his grip on me. He quickly grabbed hold of my shoulders and began pulling me back down the tunnel with him. Lizzie, we have to go. No, let go of me, I gotta save him. I struggled against him, but he was able to keep control. He forcibly shook me by the shoulders. Liz, snap out of it. I froze for a moment. Listen, we have to go, we can't do anything now. I glared at him, then finally relented. We took off running, the horrible wheezes and screams growing louder and louder behind us. I glanced back to see the looming shadows down the tunnel. Where were they even coming from? It didn't matter. I kept running. We both did. We ran. And ran. And ran. Huh? I'm back here? I didn't even fall unconscious that time. Jeez. Memories are so vivid. Feels like it's happening all over again. Like I'm really there. Maybe those aren't memories. Maybe this place is a memory. Or is it a dream? Maybe both are dreams. Or are both real? Happening at the same time? No idea how that would work. Before I can ponder it further, wonderful. That is actually the most sibling thing to do, I feel like. I suppose that's what it calls itself? The messenger? So, the thing's asking me if I want to see someone else's memories. Do I accept her offer? Well, give me a moment. Why not? The creature walked behind me, palpable excitement in its gait. The slurping increases. The world goes dark again, but this time the darkness is seen by eyes foreign to me. Rich tumbled down through the dark maw. Lizzie's cries and the wailing of beasts faded into silence as blackness swallowed him. He fell for what felt like a lifetime, his body beating battered by the walls of stone and cut by knives of rock. Rich was certain that this was all leading up to a giant splat, which would leave his skull leaking brain juices and blood, a messy and unceremonious end. All that was and ever would be of the boy known as Rich, reduced to a pile of meat, his body a buffet for maggots. To his surprise, however, he landed, alive, unconscious for a while, and probably with a few broken bones, but alive. Eventually, he came to. Rich slowly rose to his feet, groaning a little.
Where am I?
Good question. He tried to look around, but it was all too dark. A sea of ink. Where was Lizzie? Where was Pucks? How long was he unconscious?
Pucks! Lizzie!
He called, but no response. He was all alone, deep in mother knows where, far from home and any sense of comfort and safety. The only solace he had right now was that, as far as he could tell at least, he was just alone. Beasts from above had not followed him. Knowing that was of some comfort. As the silence hung in the air, a weight deep in Rich's stomach turned into a solid mass of grief, warmth in the back of his eyes, and then a lump in his throat. Small rivers began to trickle from the corners of his eyes, and then a dam breaks, and the lonely boy sobs messily for an inordinate amount of time. Time passes. Eventually his throat goes raspy and hoarse, and his eyes dry. He wipes his face with his sleeve and rubs his eyes. Composure returns. Nothing in his life had ever prepared him for something like this. For all the things he endured in the boarding, they were at least human threats. People were somewhat understandable. They had wants and desires that he could reason through eventually, make sense of the things that happened to him. Moreover, if something was to happen to him, someone would find out. Someone would know. He might be in pain. Might be getting kicked in the balls for his rat witch. Might even get abducted by the ACs for interrogation, whatever that entailed. Someone would behold his pain. Someone would recognize that he had, in fact, existed, and what happened to him would be recognized. Someone would recognize that he had, in fact, existed, even if their knowledge of him was superficial. Maybe someone would even make a marker for his corpse. At minimum, maybe another slash on a sad tally on a sad chart. It would at least be something to him. Here, though, he could feel in his bones that it was a place anathemic to life, and none would ever find him down here.
I have to find a way out.
With a small but bright flame of resolve in his heart, Rich willed himself forward. For a while he stumbled through the dark, taking small, tepid little steps to avoid tripping and falling on his face, or, mother forbid, down another hole. He walked for so long, he's unsure if he's even really going anywhere. His steps echo and travel down the cave system. He tried stepping softly at first. The thoughts of the noise attracting someone dangerous terrified him, but when nothing came, he transitioned to a brisk walking pace. Where was he even? So much of the cave just looked like, well, cave. Indistinguishable. The Crepsucule, I still have no idea how to say that, was meant to be vast, possibly even endless. There may not even be a way out, he realized. This was going to be it, wasn't it? He was going to die here. A scared boy named Rich, who only ever wanted to find friends and love and a roof over his head. He always tried his hardest to be kind to everyone, even when they were not kind to him. Be the callus on the working hand, became stronger through the pain, learned to be immovable, learned to bear misery and pain without revenge, just like the mother taught. Learn to revel in suffering, so that it may never burn your soul. It was all the boy simply wished. He wanted to bear the pain of the world so that others might be happier, and so Mother would be proud of him. But what did all that get him, in the end? He did exactly what Mother said to do, or at least as best as he could understand her teachings. He really tried. She was supposed to know the character of everyone's heart. She should have known him. Was this punishment? Had he been wrong all along? Was he really a bad person, despite his efforts? Or did Mother simply not care? No. Maybe what he did wasn't enough. Maybe he was physically incapable of being the person that Mother Matron wanted him to be. Why was he made this way? What did he do wrong? Why was he made so wrong? The cauldron of feelings boiled inside of his throat, making his eyes unfocus and his steps become unconscious. That's when he suddenly walked into an obstacle. Ow. It somewhat defied reason. There, inexplicably, was a door, built right into the cave wall. Was he... Where was this? Why didn't he notice it was coming? He was lost in thought, but his vision was dark before. It was like it appeared right in front of him. That couldn't be, though, could it? Rich looked behind him, unsure of what to do. Maybe should he go through the door? The pure, indiscernible blackness provided a compelling argument. It's not like he had any inclination of where he was going anyway. Any direction was as good as any other, at least for now. Rich gently placed his hand on the door. He swallows a hard lump in his throat and breathes. Finally, he pushes the door open and walks inside. Through the door, Rich found a rather nice living space by the looks of it. A wooden cabin just sitting in the dark caves. There's a fireplace crackling with delightful warmth. Pots and pans and mugs. Empty bottle. Some full bottles. Silverware. Bed in the corner. Very strange. Where did such a thing come from? Someone lived down here. How could someone live down here? Moreover, how was it possible that this place seemed better living than any place in the boarding?
What is this place?
A hand touches Richard's shoulder. Rich jumps a mile on his own skin, whipping around at a fast speed, and stepping backwards, fearful of what he was going to face.
Calm thy nerves, my friend. Calm thy nerves.
Before him was a man, shaped like a man, but with horrid leathery skin, blotched with scabs and slight drizzles of pus. His clothes were rather fanciful to Rich's eyes. Never seen anything quite like it. However, the material was something Rich could not place. Something about it deeply unnerved him.
Who are you?
Me. Am I? Myself. Is that not obvious?
I mean, like, what's your name?
What's your name? Everything, I suppose. Very well. You may call me Bonus. What is your name, boy?
The man was a strange character, to be sure, but he seemed nice enough.
My name is Rich.
Rich, eh? Perhaps you can spare some coin.
The man lets out a raucous laugh. The gasp bass tone in it almost shakes the room.
I merely jest. I've no use for money in this place.
Do you live here?
Live? I merely exist.
We're not living, it's just surviving. There was a difference?
Living is a diseased state that consists of pain, an all-encompassing feeling of death, and nature, a desperate desire for men to be woven from chaos itself. The only things that can be born from chaos are tyrants and horrors incomprehensible. And, I suppose, sacred.
Rich cannot help but laugh a little at the absurd joke. Catches him off guard.
Ah, so boy can smile.
Omis flashes what Rich assumes to be a smile at him. It's subtle on the modeled features of the man's bizarre face. Rich felt a little guilty for thinking these things. Judging someone based on their appearance wasn't something he was keen to do if he could help it.
Anyways, such things are beyond me. I merely exist now. Stopped living ages ago.
A pregnant silence hangs in the air. Then the savory smell of stew crawls up Rich's nostrils. His stomach lets out a loud groan of hunger pangs. A combination of time and stress left his stomach empty and ready to eat itself.
And so the stomach decrees the conversation on the air. Difficult to argue with the belly. It has no ears, after all. Supper?
Don't eat it, King. Don't trust his cooking. The man gets up from his seat and goes to the pot hanging over the hearth fire. He ladles out several scoops of a thick stew, filled with hearty chunks and flavorful broth of Rich couldn't quite tell.
A simple stew warms the bones and heals the heart. Thy medicine is wise and sweet.
Hell yeah, soup. Omis puts the stew on a plate on the table and hands Rich a spoon.
Sure. I guess I can eat.
Rich pauses for a moment, staring at Omis, trying to read him. The misshapen man simply nods with a smile. Rich stares for a moment more, before finally turning to the bowl of stew. He really was starving. He carefully spoons out a mouthful of stew, trying to get a little bit of each component fit in just right. A gentle steam crawls toward the ceiling. Rich blows on his spoon, then carefully sips from it. It's the perfect temperature. The flavor envelops his tongue warmly and tenderly. A medley of savory flavors. A hint of salt in the back, a delightful crunchiness to the veggies. When was the last time Rich had ever eaten a vegetable? They were hard to come by sometimes.
It's good.
A switch flips. Rich begins rapidly spooning mouthfuls of the stuff into his face. Some of it dribbles down his chin and onto his scarf. Loud, happy slurping like a puppy eating his favorite meal.
A curio, to be sure. A soul such as thine has not been given, let alone one of your patheticism.
Was that an insult? What was with the sudden change in his tone? Suddenly, Momus throws the bowl of stew across the room. It shatters and splatters against the wall in a violent crash.
I'm saying you're pathetic. Are you deaf too? Breathing like a mule? You wonder if those big fat baby tears get you back home?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you.
Rich jumps out of his seat and steps back before Momus lets out a shout.
Stop!
He stops dead in his tracks.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Then a nightmare unfolds bluntly in front of him.
So sorry. So sorry for being alive. I'll give you anything you want if you leave me alone. My pride, my dignity, everything in my life. Take my kidneys, take it all. I have nothing at all.
And this place is gonna, like, slowly unravel of our fears.
I'd be worth more dead than
No, stop! Stop using my face like that!
No, not mule brain.
Suck all his tits.
Sorry, that was really quiet.
Felt terrified about the so full of joy. Why is that? Back
One second. I'm gonna turn that music like just a smidge. This gets really loud at times. Alright.
enjoyed it. You thought it would be like a story. This would be the miraculous moment you'd make some friends for once. But your friends are gone, aren't they? They watch you fall down and go. All the troubles.
Not true. I'm trying to keep all of these bitches alive.
Never.
Reminds me of what people used to do back when I was a small young woman. You know what my people did? These before I left them for Canada. Though, I think it was definitely not a Sister. Sister was going to enjoy that delectable suffering inside them. Eyes look scrumptious, though. I'll enjoy it. I'll dance them on tiny grapes and chewy my teeth.
No! Get away from me!
Run, bitch, run. Rich ran to the exit, but the door was closed and locked before him. He feebly bashes and bangs on the door, but he cannot escape. Rest in peace, Rich. The memory cuts off suddenly. I'm gasping for air. Terror and fear flowing through my veins. Riches, terror and fear. Oh my god. That was... Before I have time to process it, the messenger is back behind me, fiddling around again. It sounds like she's moving a cable, plugging something in. The slurping sound grows faster. This world fades again. I don't know how long it ran for, but eventually the horrible cacophony behind us gave way to silence. We were safe. For now. Hopefully.
I think I can rest for a minute.
Yeah, probably. Pucks leans against the wall while I sit on the ground. We were drenched with sweat and terribly out of breath. Should we go back? Once we're rested? It's not right for us to just leave him there. He might still be alive. No way. It's too dangerous. You heard all those things. Going back would be suicide. He stands there a moment, huffing and puffing. He takes a few deep breaths, and his composure returns.
I get it. I really do.
gotta focus on our own survival now.
He was right. I hated that he was right. Those beasts were alert and awake now, if they hadn't already been. They'd likely be lying in wait for us. Taking one of them down was a nightmare in and of itself. Adding more to that equation didn't leave us with good odds. I had to hope that Rich would make it out alive somehow. Well, now we know he didn't. That maybe he'd find his way up ahead and we'd be able to meet him again. After much wheezing and gasping for air, I got my bearings straight. I looked around. I was too focused on catching my breath to notice just how dark the tunnel was. Where are we?
You know about as well as I do.
In other words, no idea. It's so dark. Do we have a light or anything?
As a matter of fact, we do.
Ah. Pucks pulled out a flashlight from his pocket and clicks it on. See, he's smart.
I love how reliable you are.
Phew, I was really not looking forward to stumbling in the dark. You're so reliable, Pucks.
Yeah, well, I had you two morons to stock up properly.
Yeah, says the guy who got all the supplies. I suppose not. We both laughed softly and trailed off into silence. We're kind of awful, aren't we? Pucks looks at me with consternation. We're in a place where so many kids came to die, frightened and alone, and somehow we're laughing. What right do we have to feel any kind of joy in the face of all of this? I turned my eyes to the ground. I felt great shame.
Listen, don't start feeling bad about yourself. There's nothing we can do about Rich. For now, falling down that hole might have killed him for one. Moreover, even if we wanted to go look, you heard those things. We would have been skewered wrecked if we stayed behind. We're in a fucked up situation. If you're able to crack a smile still, that means you're hanging in there. At least, you get this.
Sure.
If we want to survive this, we have to keep our heads on straight.
I don't know how well I'm hanging in there, but I really appreciate it, Pucks.
Just speaking the truth is all.
Sure. Still, it means a lot. Pucks gave me a gentle smile. It didn't suit his face very well, but it warmed me so.
Not to ruin the moment, but we should get going. I'm not a fan of standing around in the dark ass tunnel.
Fair. Me neither. Let's get going. We continued at a brisk but manageable pace. And then all my friends are gonna, like, slowly, one by one, die. Until I'm left alone. This tunnel was really long. The silence was eerie and deafening. I had to fill the air somehow. Hey, can I ask you something? Dunno. I haven't heard the question. I rolled my eyes. You mentioned you used to have friends to play baseball with, didn't you? Yeah. Why can't you play with them anymore? Did something happen? All of his friends got stuck down here or something? Yeah. Something did. And that's why he hates the Mother Matron. Care to elaborate? Would prefer not to. Was it something bad? No. I just don't want to talk about it because it brings me too much joy, of course. Of course it was something bad. Jeez, sorry. Really, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. I shouldn't have cried. Apology accepted. I breathed a sigh of relief. Awkwardness encroached. Silence became home again. I kept my eyes glued to my shoes. I had friends that got sent down here. I fucking called it. My eyes widened as I quickly turned to look at him. They got one of those letters, you know, like the ones we got. My friends Rocco and Wallace got them. They didn't tell me outright, but I saw the signs. Out of nowhere, they were all withdrawn. They came to see me at my place like usual, but it was different. They'd look me in the eyes while we talked, but even looking directly at me, they were focusing somewhere thousands of miles away. Then, they were just gone. Never heard from them again. Or at least, I didn't hear from Rocco again. Wallace came back. You know how that all goes. He couldn't speak a single word properly, shaking like a dog full of ice water. That look in his eyes, that pitiful expression. He wasn't really Wallace anymore. I mean, he had the face and the name, but everything that made him Wallace was sucked out, gone, disappeared. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, Bugs, I had no idea. It's okay. Well, it's not okay exactly, but you didn't mean any harm. It wasn't your fault. Is that why you hate the Mother Matron so much? Pretty much, yeah, I didn't exactly love her before, like everyone else did. Hard for me to put my hope in shit I can't see with my own eyes, you know? Fair. But seeing Wallace like that, I can never forgive that cunt for letting that happen to him. I don't care what people say she's done for us, or how people look up to her. She got my friends killed, and who knows how many before him. She can feed us all that bullshit about being necessary and unavoidable, but I don't buy it for a fucking second. I can't say I blame you for feeling that way. I'm really sorry you went through that.
Mother Matron said so.
It's kind of hard for me to accept it. I really love the Mother Matron. I've written to her a lot, believe it or not. She would always say the nicest things, always tell me how wonderful I was doing. She supports me a lot, even if it's indirectly. It's not like you're the only one. It's a lot easier to revere someone when they haven't stolen anything from you, or at least when you're not aware of what's being stolen. I couldn't really say anything to that. I didn't harbor the same hatred as he did, but I didn't disagree with him either. Plus, when we talked to her, something felt wrong. Her voice was nice and sweet, but the way she spoke to us didn't really seem that way. She kind of scared me, actually. I tried not to focus on those thoughts, though, and instead tried to console Bugs. I thought about giving him a hug, but that felt like something he'd find patronizing. I settled for a gentle pat on his shoulder. I know we only met recently, but for the time being, we're the only two people we can rely on. So, I don't know if there's anything I can do to help. Please let me know. Thank you. It means a lot. We have more important things to worry about, though. I need to keep focus. I understand, just don't forget, okay? I flashed him a ward smile.